Hi, this is Colleen Pearl, the Cool Crone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about the astrology from June 14th to the 28th. That is covering the full to new moons. And if you hear some noise in the background, I'm recording this during a thunderstorm. I just love the energy of the storms. So I hope the sound doesn't bother you. It's really inspiring me. The astrology between the full and new moons this month is excellent for peace negotiations, support of the most high-minded humanitarian causes, and generally raising the vibration of the planet. We just had a really fun full moon to begin our summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, and it seems like things will continue on this path for the next 2 weeks. I feel the U.S. will continue to support Ukraine with money, weapons, and our belief in them and their will to succeed. Now, in this video, we're going to explore the planetary ingresses, all the retrograde planets, and all the aspects between June 14th and 28th. That is between the full moon in Sagittarius on the 14th up to the new moon in Cancer on the 28th. So let's begin with the planetary ingresses. We just really have two. We have June 21st on the summer solstice, the sun will be entering Cancer. Now, sun going into Cancer is always a real signal that, hey, we are actually in summer. And really, most people think of the summer solstice as the beginning of summer, but that's a fallacy. It's the height of summer. It's midsummer. It's midway through the summer season, even though the sun is just at 0 degrees Cancer. So when the sun is in Gemini, that's really the beginning of summer. And then on the 23rd, just a couple of days after the solstice, we have Venus entering Gemini. And that's always fun. Now, it doesn't always work out like this every year, but every few years we do have this combination of the sun in Cancer and Venus in Gemini. And this is when we get those summers where we really enjoy having a good time, playing around, goofing off. And even Venus in Gemini even speaks about summer romances. So these are the kinds of summers that you look back on in years to come and have fond, fond memories. All right, now we're going to talk about retrograde planets. And the first retrograde planet we're going to talk about is Saturn. Now, Saturn is at 25 degrees 10 minutes Aquarius as of June 14th. And when a planet like Saturn goes into retrograde, it isn't like Mercury retrograde. Bigger planets tend to kind of go to sleep when they're in retrograde motion, which means they lose a little bit of their energy and characteristic power, whatever area of life their power attends to. So in this respect, with Saturn retrograde, we may find that certain things are just not as restrictive as they usually are. We may have things lifted a little bit, like some of the more restrictive laws may be relaxed or lifted or found to be unnecessary or unfounded or unconstitutional, whatever, here in this country. And around the world, we may find that certain limitations and restrictions are just loosened up a bit while Saturn is in retrograde. Now, Saturn's going to be in retrograde motion until almost the end of October this year, so we have quite a ways to go with this. And then we have Pluto, which is going to be retrograde at 28 minutes of Capricorn as of June 14th. Now, it's retrograde before June 14th, but this is the degree that it's in on June 14th. Now, Pluto going retrograde is going to mean a going to sleep or a lessening of people who are hanging on to power or organizations who are hanging on to power. So we may see certain organizations or people lose power in some way as this Pluto retrograde continues. And again, it's going to be retrograde for quite some time. On the 20th, and there's my picture of Pluto retrograde there. And on the 28th, we have Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Now, this, I think, is a very, very welcome retrograde because this is going to help some of the fogginess and cult-like behavior begin to clear up and lift. People will begin to see the light. They will begin to see the truth that is in front of them rather than be confused by people who are sort of cult leaders or very, very charismatic people who can just talk other people into things. So I think it's all together with the Pluto, Neptune, and Saturn retrograde. I think this is a really good time for clarity around the planet. I think it's going to be a good time for obsolete restrictions to be lifted, for new restrictions to be lifted that should be obsolete, and in general for people to have a more clear-eyed view of what's really going on the planet. Now we're going to move on to planetary aspects. The first aspect that we have is on June 15th, where we have Mars conjunct Chiron. Now, Mars and Chiron will both be at 15 degrees Aries, 56 minutes. Energy and power fuels your efforts at self-healing and for healing others. So be careful not to force your energy too much. You may end up creating more trauma or even damaging yourself in some way. But this energy can easily be turned inward, and that is not the goal. Rather, use the enthusiasm of Mars to search for new ways of healing, but implement everything gently. And then on the 16th, we have two aspects with the sun. The sun will be trine Saturn. Sun will be at 25 degrees, 8 minutes Gemini. Saturn will be at 25 degrees, 8 minutes Aquarius in an exact trine. Now, this aspect will give confidence to people in a highly structured way. So people will feel or see that governments and large organizations are doing the right thing, that highly organized structures and very organized areas such as engineering, science, and mathematics will be in the focus, and they will experience progress and publicity. They will be hardworking and responsible, and the public is going to notice this at this time. And then we have the Sun square Neptune. Sun will be still at 25.8 Gemini, but Neptune will be at 25 degrees 24 minutes of Pisces. And under this aspect, people will feel that they need to sacrifice themselves on behalf of others. Certain individuals may be easily manipulated or cheated and should really take care with substances such as alcohol and drugs. This is also always a warning with malevolent aspects with Neptune. So if you know people who are easily manipulated or cheated anyway, then you want to look out for them and warn them and try to keep them away from the alcohol and drugs. Then on June 18th, Venus will be square Saturn. Venus will be at 25 degrees 4 Taurus, and Saturn will be at 25 degrees 5 Aquarius. And we have to keep in mind that Saturn is retrograde at this time, so Saturn is not as powerful as usual, so Venus will probably have the upper hand. This is a transit that encourages beautiful yet constrained or structured developments. This could apply to negotiations or actual buildings or even organizations. The Venus urge to create beautiful things will align with the conservative, serious structure of Saturn to bring us to a mature understanding of what is required in the moment. And something that also crossed my mind is this could be a moment where we see a mature artist produce a phenomenal piece of work, maybe the pinnacle of their career at this time. On June 19th, we have Venus sextile Neptune. Venus will be at 25 degrees Taurus, 25 minutes. And now notice that just from the day before, where Venus was at 25 degrees 4 minutes Taurus, it has now moved about 20 degrees up to 25 degrees 25 Taurus. So Venus is not moving terrifically fast, about a half a degree a day. And Neptune will be at 25 Pisces, which is fairly exact sextile. This brings vibes of romance and compassion. You will be very, very emotional, and you will fall in love with almost everyone you come in contact with. Your artistic sense will be very high, and you may be able to create some incredible art right now. So couple that with the Venus square Saturn, and that's why I'm saying that some lucky artist who has sensitive astrological degrees to these planetary placements is going to produce their life's work around these 2 days. Also, you're going to be very sensitive sexually now, and you may not be very discerning over who you choose as a romantic partner. So be aware of that on June 19th as well. Then on the 20th, we have Mercury sextile Jupiter. Mercury will be at 6 degrees 23 Gemini, and Jupiter will be at 6 degrees 24 Aries. So optimism is high now. You'll find that people are very kind and helpful, but a bit on cloud nine, and they may wax poetical on just about any philosophical topic you can think of. They may long for a change of scenery, but have no money to fund their traveling desires. So this will just be a lot of talk, 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 and probably not a lot of action on this day. But it may be very interesting talk. Then on the 21st, we have the summer solstice, where the sun is actually entering Cancer and Venus will be trine Pluto. Venus now will be at exactly 28 degrees Taurus, and Pluto will be at exactly 28 degrees retrograde in Capricorn. So on this summer solstice, you have to turn around and remember that philosopher you fell for a few days ago. And just be careful, because this trine between Venus and Pluto may have you thinking about putting a ring on it. Now, be really, really sure of yourself here. Pluto is intense to the max, and Neptune is going to have you over the moon concerning someone that you normally wouldn't look twice at. So be sure that you and this new partner's values are very much in alignment before making any legal commitments. And then on the 27th, we have Mercury sextiling Chiron and Mars sextiling Saturn. Mercury will be at 6 degrees 13 Gemini. Chiron will be at 1613 Aries. You need to figure out what needs to be healed, and that's what this transit is going to do. The focus for healing is going to come uppermost in your mind, is going to sort of float to the surface of your consciousness. And whether or not you're able to heal it during this transit is not really the point. The point is that the actual need to heal and identifying what needs to heal is going to float to the surface. Once you identify it, Chiron will work to fix it. So don't worry about it. Just focus on the healing and you will progress. Now, Mars sextile Saturn, Mars will be at 24 degrees 30 of Aries. Saturn will be at 24 degrees 50 of Aquarius, and you will have energy to spare on projects that require hard work and or concentration. So without taking any risks, you will find thoughts of being an entrepreneur filling your head. This gives a tremendous amount of energy, but also a lot of discipline and the ability to do hard work for a long period of time on this day. Just don't wear yourself out, and realize that some of that energy doesn't have to be all physical. Some of it could be mental, and you could apply this to your business projects. And then on the 28th, we have the new moon in Cancer. Now, I'm going to be doing a video all about the new moon in Cancer, so I'm just going to leave it off here saying that a new moon is always a good time to start new things. And Cancer is the ruler of the moon, so it's going to be a very powerful new moon indeed. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it has been instructive and informative for all of you. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know about that. And I will see you next time.